So Android 14 just came out in a developer beta, and I'm definitely going to tell you this is a pretty interesting update. So I said this last year when Android 13 came out, but it doesn't really seem like it didn't seem like to me at the time that Android 13 was that big of an upgrade. I feel like it brought some cool things here and there, but it's looking to me, even from this initial developer beta from Google, Android 14 is actually looking to be kind of interesting. So we'll talk about that throughout this whole entire video, but the first thing I want to state, Android 14 is still in a developer beta. It's not anywhere close to what it's going to be actually looking like in the future. So keep that in mind, it still has a long time to go. Some cool things though, the one thing is that apparently you can actually be able to remove some bloatware that's installed via your carrier. So this is something that some people were able to see. Again, I don't know for a fact what's going to be happening here, but it looks like if it detects some sort of bloatware on your device, you may be able to actually uninstall it. Now, I don't know what this is going to look like with Samsung phones. I'm sure Samsung is going to remove this feature or just, not be able to do it. But that's going to be very interesting if Samsung allows us to do this. How many Samsung applications we're going to remove. There's not too many Google applications on like a base install of, stock Android. There's not like an insane amount of Google applications. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of happens there. Now, on top of that, one thing that I'm not super happy about is that for a lot of older applications, we won't be able to install the APK files of those. So I'm not too sure what's going on here. There's still a lot of older applications that may have not been updated in a long period of time. But it looks like Google may be stopping us from going to install those. On Android 13, we could install really any APK file. If it did detect some harm or something, then it would kind of tell us. But that was something that kind of stood out to me, and I'm curious to see what's going to be happening there. Another interesting thing is actually cloning our applications. So it looks like within Android 14, we're going to have the ability of actually adding an app, basically adding another instance of an application, cloning that application, so you can have two instances of an application side by side, or not side by side, but on the same phone. That way you don't have to constantly worry about maybe signing out and signing in another account, whatever. If you had your two different Instagram apps, you have your one for your personal, one for your business. I know you can do separate accounts on the same app, but sometimes some people may prefer different applications, and there's a lot of applications that don't even support that. So that is going to be something that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. Another big thing to keep in mind that I've seen is actually with eSIM. So Android 13, a lot of Android phones have supported eSIM for a long period of time, but it actually looks like that, at least in my opinion, Android 14 is really trying to, focus around eSIM support. And they're really trying to in the future, they're going to transfer people over into using more eSIM overall than possibly the physical SIM cards. So that was some other things. You can see that in the reset settings and whatnot. So that's another interesting thing as well. Now, I am also curious to see what Google is going to be doing within the whole entire Android landscape, because it looks to me, at least from what they've stated, there's only a certain amount of phones that are supported in this developer beta, and they remove support for the Pixel 4, 4 XL, and the Pixel 4a. But the weird thing is the Pixel 4a 5G is still supported. So that's something that's going to be very interesting to see. If they remove the Pixel 4 and 4 XL and 4a, I think that's okay. And those phones are approaching 3 years old for the 4a and almost 4 years old for the Pixel 4 and 4 XL, so totally okay. But that is another interesting thing, and I'm curious to see what Google is going to be doing there as well. So there's been some other small, physical changes, like the share menu might have gotten a little bit of a change. I'm sure they're going to make some more improvements to updates and whatnot. So whenever the next big update comes out, the next beta, I'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. But I'm looking forward to this update, and honestly, I cannot wait until this next version of Android comes out. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.